morning.
Hi.
So today I'm going to talk about unsolved conflicts. The first example of unsolved conflicts is BC teachers versus the government. And this conflict between BC government and the teachers has been happening like since for over a century. As you can see this in this article, it's about teachers, BC teachers complaining about the class size. It's too big, and that time it was 1910. In that time, they had 16 kids in a class. So
16?
60.
60.
I mean, 60 kids in the class. It's too big. And yeah, it's unsolved. The conflict is still happening now.
60?
60.
60.
60. And now the teachers are complaining about not only the class size, but also over task, like writing grades for kids or marking the provincial exams. And also we have lots of ESL students now, so yeah, that makes the teachers more tired. Yeah. So I kind of follow the steps, the fire metaphor, and the wood, the fuel, is having too many kids in class. And the spark is other tasks, as I said, ESL students or marking the grades, making the grades, report card, something like that. And nevertheless, now the economic is bad. It's in an economic recession. So, and finally they went on a strike. Yeah. And the second one is teenagers versus parents. I think it never gonna be solved. It's so natural things. Yeah, natural phenomenon. And they also talk about future, and maybe that's because of teenagers' irresponsibility. And the fuel is decision making. And what makes worse is the period of time, adolescence. The teenagers are really sensible and they want to be independent from their parents. So, and often they don't talk much to their parents. So that makes lack of communication and confuse their parents. Yeah. And finally, it gets to a big fight. And the last example is First Nation versus Canada. This conflict is kind of solved, but I think still the First Nation people are still suffering from the fact, from what the Canadian did before. And the fuel is colonization. Like 18th century, European people came to Canada to colonize Canada, and after that they invaded the First Nations territory, and yeah, they said go away or something like that. And they put the First Nations to other place. Yeah. And now, not now, but they often get discriminated. Like they were used as like slaves, and the First Nation kids were put on what is called residential schools, and